The Central Bank of Nigeria has extended the deadline for returning old Naira notes to commercial banks. The new date is the 10th of February. The old notes would cease to be legal tender after that date. The CBN has also granted a 7-day grace period to allow Nigerians to deposit their old notes at the bank, beginning on the 10th of February to the 17th of February. The extension follows President Muhammadu Buhari's approval after a meeting with the central bank's governor, Godwin Emefiele, in Daura, Katsina State. Governor Emefiele spoke to the media after the meeting, saying that 75% of the 2.7 trillion naira held outside the banking system have now been collected.
Our aim mainly is to make our monetary policy decisions more efficacious, and like you can see, we've started to see inflation trending downwards, and the exchange is relatively stable. Secondly, we aim to support the efforts of our security agencies in combating banditry and ransom taking in Nigeria through this program, and we can see that the military are making a good progress in this important task in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, available data at the Central Bank of Nigeria has shown that in 2015, currency in circulation was only 1.4 trillion naira. As at October 2022, currency in circulation had risen to 3.23 trillion naira, out of which only 500 billion was within the banking industry, and 2.7 trillion held permanently in people's homes. Ordinarily, when CBN releases currency into circulation, it is meant to be used, and after a friction of time, it returns to the CBN, thereby keeping the volume of currency in circulation under the firm control of the CBN. So far, and since the commencement of this program, we have collected about 1.9 trillion naira, leaving us with about 900 billion to 1 trillion naira, and 1 trillion naira to be collected.
All right, well, joining us now to discuss the extension of the deadline to phase out the old notes, the arrested syndicates selling new notes, as well as queues observed at the automated teller machines across the nation. We're joined by Arise News analyst Kayode Otitoju. Good day and welcome to Newsday.
Good day.
All right, so many issues to unpack, but let's first start with the mixed reactions. We're seeing House of Reps ad hoc committee saying that this is just a political gimmick. But then we're also seeing the candidate for the APC, Bola Tinubu, expressing his joy at a meeting in Benin yesterday, where he said, and I quote, "We've been on the quest for an extension for 3 to 4 days, and when the president gave his approval today, we were happy. Though we didn't get all we wanted, we got an extension by some days." I end quote. That's from Bola Tinubu. What are your initial takeaways from these mixed reactions?
Yeah, the extension actually shows the difference between Buhari as military head of state in 1983 and Buhari as a Democrat in 2023. Flexibility. That's what democracy is all about. You don't hold on rigidly to policy, unlike military era. Once it's pronounced, it's military. No room for listening to people outcry or criticism. Okay? Order is order. But in a democracy, you listen to the people, you send out, policy, you get feedback, you monitor, you adjust and readjust. So kudos to Buhari and Emefiele, because as of last week, Emefiele said, no going back. But when the pressure was much, he went to his master, and both of them put their heads together and extended by 10 days. And 10 days is really much for people who still have money at home to exchange. For people like me, the little naira I had, old naira, I'd already spent. Yesterday, I got to the ATMs in Lekki. I couldn't even get money at all from 4 different ATMs. Okay? Because people had already exhausted the little put there over the weekend. Maybe this morning we will start getting. But as of last week, it was 20,000 maximum per ATM. I don't know whether it's per bank or per individual, because if they link your, BVN to rate, it means that maximum 20,000 new notes per day. Okay? So the extension is a welcome development. And again, after the 10 days, there is still another 7 days for people with old money to deposit. But those one is not for exchange again. No. After February 10, you can exchange old for new. But if you still have extra, like people who wear household, notes, they can still send it to the central bank, maybe for destruction, and otherwise it will be used as fertilizer by those people later, because it's no more legal tender after 10th of February.
But at the same time, Mr. Otitoju, even though you say it's a welcome development, it came out almost at the dying minute. I'll use myself for instance. I made sure I got rid of all the notes. And then, at the last minute, I'm told, oh, you can still use your notes, when I have literally had nothing with me. So now, the factors that are put in place, in addition to the extension, is that we also know that they will deploy, as the CBN will deploy 30,000 agents nationwide to boost the cash swap. Is that enough to ensure that by the time we get to that new deadline, we're not looking at another potential extension? Because there was also some relative dishonesty, where it said enough notes were in circulation, and then some bankers who pled anonymity said, where there are not enough notes in circulation. That's why we were putting the old notes in the ATMs. And now they have instructions to only put new notes, which is why most people met nothing when they went to the ATMs. So are these enough measures, the extension of the 30,000 that are deployed?
I think deploying the officials to various localities we really do the magic. Because I was in the village, or rural urban fringe, over the weekend. And when I ran out of money, I was still able to get new notes. So I paid 22,000 to get 20,000 new notes from an agent. These people that carry it. And again, if you want to buy petrol, the petrol dealers are even making serious money with the POS holder. I don't know, is it POS? Those guys that carry, you will buy petrol maybe at 300 or 370 per liter. When you are about to pay, they will direct you to another guy next to the filling station who will take your card and give you cash, which you now use to pay for the petrol. And when they do that, they take some charges. So some things are going on that, upon the whole, by the 10th of February, old notes should be rendered ineligible for transaction. And it will be okay. Because in the rural areas, they have already embraced it. And they are getting it. In fact, I saw so much 200 Naira notes. Whereas when I was in Lagos, all I get is 1,000 notes, the blue one. So I have so many green now. Or do you want to see?
Yes, please.
No, do you want to see?
I would like to see it.
Not to take.
All right, on that note, Mr. Otitoju, okay, we've got the evidence. I also hope your statement that, by February 10, you do believe that by February 10, this should all be resolved. I hope it goes from your lips to God's ears, because we need it to be resolved. Kayode Otitoju, thank you so much for your time on Newsday.